Hello and welcome back to Boxing Social in association with Betfred. We're in London, Box Park, Wembley. With me is the one and only boxers Ben Shalom, who will be presenting Richard Riakporhe versus Dion Jumah. First of all, Ben, how's life treating you?
Yeah, very well. After a great February, it's just great to get started again. Got 2 back-to-back shows this weekend and next weekend, and then into a busy summer, so just great to be back.
Part of boxing is it's not always easy. You had a fight fall through and you managed to put through 2 fighters into what is deemed by a lot of people as a better fight there, Richard Riakporhe versus Dion Jumah. Tell me about how that came about and why you decided to make that fight.
Yeah, we've been building Mikhail Lawal towards the British title for a long time, so it's a big opportunity for him against Dion Jumah. And then Richard Riakporhe is obviously very close to world titles right now. Both their opponents pulled out with Mikhail pulled out with an injury, Fabio pulled out with an injury, and then I spoke with Adam Smith, and the obvious move was Dion against Richard. And obviously for Richard, that's a test that probably wasn't expecting at this stage of his career when he's so close to those world titles. So credit to Richard, he's beaten a lot of the British guys. He's now going to beat another one, and another guy that is very avoided. He's a very talented fighter, good boxer, southpaw. But I think Richard is still learning the game and has improved as well in the past 18 months. So it's going to be an explosive fight. I don't expect it to go the distance. I think Richard's going to want to finish it early, but let's see. I think a lot of people fancy Dion, but Richard's a special talent now, and we'll see. But it's a great fight for the fans, and the broadcasters are a winner.
A lot of variety on this card in terms of fighters, in their positions in their career, in terms of the talent too that are on there. Talking about long-term planning with boxing and building up these new talents. Talking about the talent that takes your eye on this card.
Yeah, there's a lot of talent on the card. Obviously, Zach Chelli won our tournament, so he debuts for us on the first time since we've been with Sky. Chris Congo debuts as well. And then Adam Azim and Dan Aziz both in tough tests. I think one thing that we wanted to do was, although we're developing talent, was making sure that everyone says they can go and win world titles. Everyone says that they're going to do this and they're going to do that, but we feel like our guys are ready for tests, and they go through the division, and Dan Aziz has proven that. He's gone through the hard way. He's beaten everyone in his path, and he wants a tough type fight straight away. He's going to fight Matthew Tinker, who beat him in the amateurs, who struggled for opportunities over here, so he doesn't want to mess around. And then Adam Azim in his 3rd fight at 19 years old to go and fight the Southern Area champion. He's 5 knockouts out of 6 fights, had a great amateur record as well. I think that shows what Adam's about. He wants to be a world champion before he's 22. Shane wants him to do that. Shane wants him to break records. And so he has to do unorthodox things. And I can't remember there's many fighters at 19 would take a test like this on a stage like this. And it's exciting for us. But it's almost like, if you're going to talk like you're a big fighter, you take on tests. And I think there's a lot of fighters that sort of dance around the divisions and find different ways to the top. But our guys want the tests and they want the big fights, and that's where you get the rewards. That's where your profile grows. And same with Richard. Like, he might have fought Fabio Turchi and got towards a world title, but does that matter if your profile's not as big as it should be? And these are the fights that the fans watch. These are the fights that the fans want to see. If the fighters come through there, their stock will rise, and it makes the big fights more exciting.
Then a couple of other things. There is a schedule clash this weekend, as happens in boxing sometimes. How confident are you that in terms of Sky Sports and Boxer, you can kind of win in the eyes of the viewerships and get the viewership over other promoters who are putting on fights the weekends, and will happen in the future too?
It's so hard. There's so many promoters right now. To avoid clashes is impossible. You've got Frank, you've got Eddie, BT DAZN, and then you've got Channel 5 now with Wasserman and Pro Bellum, and it's impossible. But at the end of the day, the fighters come first, so it's a blessing that there's so many opportunities for fighters. Genuinely think it's sort of a golden age for boxing in this country in particular at the moment, and we feel like we will try and avoid events, but when we have the football, when we have the size of the platform of Sky, we have to go when we feel is right, and our fighters will get the opportunities. We're expecting a massive audience on Saturday night, and I think other promoters will probably look to avoid clashing with Sky more just purely because of the size of the platform. But for us, it's difficult. We go when the football's right, we go when the venues are right. There's a lot of competition for venues as well at the moment, so I don't think anyone's doing it on purpose. In an ideal world, we'd love to avoid, but the real boxing fans will find a way to watch both, and we'll try and work around main events. And I think this should be as a positive. Maybe it will calm down in the next couple of years, but right now it's fiercely competitive. but the fighters are the winners.
Talking about Khan versus Brook, it seems like Khan's going to be fighting on. Can you tell me, Ben, are boxer contractually obliged to put on and promote the rematch, or is that separate to, can you say no to that fight should you want to?
Yeah, I think we've spoken to Ayman in the past week. I think, look, he wants to prove that that wasn't him. He wants to prove that he was injured and that he didn't have the preparation that he had. And I believe him, but at the same time, that fight, I think he understands now, isn't possible. I think if he's going to come back, he needs to show it's not for the money. He needs to show that he really was in a bad spot that night, and that's not the real him. And I think that's what he'll want to do. I do expect him to fight again. I think he wants to prove that, but no, not contracted to do the Brook rematch if we don't feel it's viable. But then Kel will fight as well, so he wants a big fight June, July, and we're looking into that at the moment.
Final thing for me, I know you're a busy man. In the wake of Taylor versus Catchall, you were adamant about looking to put proposals, you and Adam working on that, to the board. Where are you with that, and can that be expected soon?
It can be. I'm actually seeing Robert Smith this weekend. He's been extremely collaborative. I think he's got a lot of stick, Robert, and I feel sorry for him because he's got a tough job, and he does want the best for sport. He loves this sport more than anything, and we're going to see what we can do to push that forward. As I say, we've seen him this weekend. I'm working extremely hard with Adam and some third parties as well on proposals that we can put forward. I expect us to see developments in the next month.
Ben, pleasure speaking to you. Looking forward to the weekend. Thank you so much for speaking to Boxing Social.